I don't really know how to start this video out, but good morning everybody. It's like 8 a.m. for me. I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial since I seem to be getting a lot of questions from friends and family about how I do my makeup. Now this isn't really going to be like an everyday kind of like soft, effortlessly, barely there kind of deal. I do a lot more heavy makeup, a lot more like alternative, kind of like in your face kind of stuff. But I mean, the like foundation and whatnot, it can be applied for everybody. Granted, just a few heads up. I do have dry skin. I do not have oily skin by any stretch of the means, maybe just slightly on my nose, but not even really in my T-zone. So if you do not have extremely dry skin, this might not work for you as well. I also have rosacea, as you might be able to see, so I do use a little bit more of a full coverage, everything. So if that's not really what you're looking for, I definitely can make a video for you on that if that's what you're wanting. A little bit of background on me: I am a cosmetologist in training from Z Hair Academy in Overland Park, Kansas. Born in Kansas, grew up here, blah blah blah. You know the gist. I have 2 cats, a boyfriend, and yeah, so let's get started. First thing I like to do is I like to get almost all of my hair and stuff out of my face. That kind of just allows me to see everything and get everything in order. I just like to use a bandana, but honestly anything would work. Headband, your hands. I mean, you could just hold it the whole time, but let's be honest, we're not trying to do that in the early morning because most of us have just gotten out of bed and no. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do is get my skin ready to have the makeup on it. Oh my god, I'm so unprofessional. Excuse me. Let me grab my moisturizer here. So the first thing I like to do before I put any of my makeup on is get my skin ready for the makeup. Definitely, especially in the morning, it can get kind of let's be honest, our skin kind of looks a little crazy in the morning. I don't usually cleanse in the mornings just because I find that's been drying out my skin. And as you can see, I do have a couple little, What I like to use is Dr. Dennis Gross. This is just a skin firmer. I did get this as a tester from a previous employment opportunity that I had. And honestly, I love it. I find that it really like helps. It also helps my makeup stick to my skin, and it helps just kind of everything just look a little bit better. So what you want to do is you just kind of massage it in. Keep in mind, I am also a 22-year-old, and every woman, man, and everyone in between has different skin types and different things going on with their skin. Around their eyes, around their mouth, around whatever. If anyone has questions about any of that, feel free to let me know and I'd be happy to answer any of them or make a particular video on anyone with very textured skin, is what I will call it. Okay, and the second product I'm going to use is a Rodial. This is my favorite moisturizer by them. It's the Dragon's Blood. It's good stuff. It also smells really good. Honestly, I don't know what all's in it, but I just know that it works. And then I'm just gonna pop that on. And you might even be able to see a little bit of difference in my skin after I put the moisturizer on. And honestly, I didn't even know that this stuff was important until I went into cosmetology school. Because nobody really tells you, hey, you need to moisturize your skin. Your skin's dry. I wish somebody had told me that, but nobody did because most of the people I'm around, they're nice. But as you can see, let me see if I can zoom you in here. Oh God, hold on. First video problems. My skin, like instantly, like all of my pores are good. It just, I don't know. It just looks nice. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is kind of just let that air dry a little bit. Sometimes I use you know what? I'm just going to show you. The next step for me is primer. You can use anything, honestly, drugstore, name brand, whatever you'd like. I find that the more that you purchase things at Ulta or Sephora or beauty brands or the more higher end products, the better result you're going to get, honestly. I had just been using like Walmart stuff for forever, and I recently just kind of switched over to a few of the samples I was able to get at Ulta, and honestly, it makes a massive difference in how your makeup looks and settles into your skin. Not every brand is for everybody, but if you do a little bit of your own research, you might be able to find some good stuff and what would match with your skin type. There's plenty of other people on different platforms that might have similar skin to yours, and that might be helpful. I'm going to be using the CAO primer today. And this is a professional only brand that we were given at the beginning of my cosmetology schooling program. And what I like to do is just kind of get it all on my hands, and again, just kind of gently massage it into my face. Now, this might seem like a lot on my skin, of course. That makes perfect sense because I mean, I would never have dreamed of putting primer on top of lotion. That seems too thick and too much. Honestly, it gives your makeup something to stick to other than your pores. It can keep a lot of acne from happening. Now, granted, you have to find the brands that might be good for you. I do not struggle with acne, and I know that is something that a lot of people do struggle with. I am not one of those people. Like, I have never had an issue with it. I get little flare-ups here and there, but you know, it's not terrible. And you might even be able to see my skin here. Like, again, it makes a relatively big difference in how your skin looks. I know the camera doesn't really do much justice, but it looks nice. Everyone is different with foundation, depending on what you're using. Some people like to just go for an effortless powder. I am not one of those people. I have to use thick, creamy, fun stuff to cover up all of my blemishes and rosacea and so on and so forth. Some people prefer to use brushes with lots of little hairs. That can be good for liquid foundation. I find that it's really good for, like, in a pot, creamy, kind of, you're just trying to blend it all over. And this is a beauty blender. Well, it's Real Techniques. Don't come for me. I know it's kind of dirty looking. That's just dish soap, I promise. These sponges are very compacted with the spaces in between them, so they give a pretty good finish. It's nice. I like it. I mean, everyone has their own opinions. And usually you want to wet a beauty blender before you use it. You would kind of run it under the water and squeeze it. You'll feel it get kind of bigger, but I'm not going to do that because I just don't feel like it. I tend to stick to a couple of different foundations that I have. This is the CAO makeup that we have, and these are the foundation shades that it comes with. You can probably tell which one I use the most. Or my other favorite brand that you can find at Walmart or anything is the Maybelline Fit Me. That's one of my favorite ones. This is the Dewy and Smooth version. This is the 105 Fair Ivory because I am pale. This is the Dewy and Smooth. It's got an SPF 18. It's pretty good during the summertime because I do not know who else is going to be watching this video, but I don't care who you are, wear sunscreen. Wear sunscreen. It needs to be in your foundation, it needs to be in your makeup, it needs to be in your chapstick, whatever. Just put a light layer on every morning before you go out into the sun. It will help your skin like crazy and protect you from skin cancer if that runs in your family, because that kind of runs in mine. I don't know. Today I will be using the CAO foundation just because it's nice. And with these kind of pots, I prefer to use like the micro brush, just because it picks up the product and it's just nice. It just makes things a little bit easier for me. So that's what I like to do. And then I kind of just swipe and pat, okay? Because that kind of deposits the color and blends at the same time. And you're probably going to be able to see how big of a difference this stuff makes with my skin. If you struggle with rosacea, I am sorry. This stuff is terrible. It makes you feel hot and sticky all the time. But if you can find a good full coverage foundation, that will be amazing for you. This stuff is I will let you know if you ever decide that you want to try the CAO makeup. It's definitely more for professionals. If you are just starting out or you're wanting to try out something maybe a little bit heavier to cover some of your skin on your face, you might not want to start with this one. Like, it looks gorgeous. It smooths the skin. It's really nice. But it's definitely a little bit harder to work with. They do use this stuff on television, like Dancing with the Stars and a few other programs. It was really awesome of our school to hand us these because, you know, it's nice to be able to test out professional stuff. Now, I will tell you, the way that I am using this foundation is not typically how it is used. Usually what you would do is you would take a little bit out of this pot, hence why there's a big divot in there, and you would mix it with moisturizer, and you'd be able to mix all of these colors together. And these are not even the only shades that they have. They have like so many shades. It's actually kind of nice and inclusive because we're tired of not seeing colors for women of color. You know, we get tired of that, and we will not support, at least I will not be supporting any makeup brand that is going to exclude anyone just because they have a bit more melanin in the top layer of their skin. Anyways, you mix it with moisturizer, and you can take like a little scoop from there, a little scoop from there, scoop from wherever to really match anyone's skin tone. It's really nice, especially if you're working on other people, because then you can really do whatever you need to do. It's nice. I'm trying to think what else I want to say, considering this is my first video. I do have a double chin. She's right here. She is slowly but surely disappearing, but we all know weight loss is a journey. Doesn't take just 2 days unless you've got money and a good surgeon. Even if I had the money, honestly, I think I'd be a little too scared to do that because the healing process for that, my God, it's too much. It just seems really scary. But like, you see the difference here and here. Wow, that looks crazy on camera. It makes a big difference depending on the makeup that you choose. And this, like you can kind of see, that's my rosacea. Okay, I don't know. I'm sure there might be some people watching who have this or have family members, boyfriends, girlfriends, anyone else in between that has rosacea. And what it is it is a hyperpigmentation of the skin. And it causes your blood vessels in your face to flare up and make you hot pretty much all the time. It sucks. That's why I keep my house at 64 degrees. Even in the winter time, we are definitely a household that opens the windows. But it's really not that bad. I mean, it really just gets annoying because it can flare up at any time. Even if you're like emotionally distressed, your face will turn like cherry red, and it's just too much sometimes. Now, a pro tip is that if you're getting in between your nose here, I sometimes will pull and tap, or sometimes if I'm just feeling spicy, I'll just swipe. This can cause a bit of buildup, but let's be honest, we're all wearing masks, so who cares? Now for me, some people would go in with a darker shade and contour with that. I prefer to use powders just because I do have a skin condition called keratosis pilaris. It causes, maybe you can see it on my arms, it causes bumps all over. Usually people just get it here, but I kind of have it everywhere. I like to tell people I'm part leopard gecko, you know, just to be spicy with it. And I do have it all on my face and on the tops of my ears. So it can be very clingy to makeup. Okay, that can be a good thing or a bad thing. If I am trying to use a darker shade to contour, sometimes with certain brands or certain like textures for liquid or cream, anything, it will stick to the bumps and make it look real crazy. So we're not gonna do that today. So there are a few different things you can do regarding concealer, okay? I have a CAO makeup concealer kit, where as you can see, these kind of have a lot of different shades. And also, depending on what you're wanting to cover up, Like, see how I have purple? You might be able to see him popping up. I don't know. Teeny bean, I'm trying to film. Depending on what you're trying to cover up is what you're going to want to pick opposite of the color wheel. So say you're wanting to color up purple, okay? You'd want to stick to a yellow tinted shade because yellow or gold, however you want to say it, gold sounds a little bit prettier, will cover up purple tones. Just how blue will cover up orange tones, and so on and so forth. Ladies, gentlemen, and anyone in between, I know you have been being fed that you can just put random things on, like there's like these palettes of pink, yellow, and green. Don't do that. No, unless it's bad. Like, I could probably honestly put green over my rosacea and it would really help. Please don't buy those. Please do not buy those. And especially if it's powder and try to put it on, they are just taking your money, queen. None of that works. It's literally just a ploy to make you feel bad about yourself. And everyone has different skin tones. Everyone has different problems with their skin. If they want to call it problems, it's fine. No one is running around being like, oh my gosh, did you see her face is just a little bit redder than mine? And honestly, if those people are in your life, you might want to get rid of them. So this is a cream concealer, which is the CAO makeup. And these two are a little bit more of a liquid. And I'll show you the difference. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect. It's probably one of my favorite. This is shade 100 because when you are using concealer, you definitely would want to get a couple shades that's lighter than the foundation that you did put on, even if you think, whoa, that's going to be way too light for me. I'll be able to show you what that does to your face. This one is just a little bit more creamier. Okay, I don't have a lot left, so excuse me. See how it's kind of matte? It works pretty good. It also smells really nice. That's also like nice. This is the e.l.f. Concealer and Liquid Highlighter Duo. I love this stuff. It's really nice. This is a very light product. And as you can see, it's just a little bit more liquidy. And when I say liquidy, I mean quite literally it's very liquidy instead of like more creamy. The Milani's kind of a mix in between. Sometimes I get bored and I just randomly pick one that I want to use because I like to practice. I am going to use the CAO Makeup Concealer today just because I feel like it. And I am going to go back in with this brush. Some people also prefer to use brushes like these. This is a flat, this is the CAO 116. It's flat, teeny bean. Their brushes are extremely soft, which is nice because the more bristles you have in a brush and the more soft it is, the more natural the makeup that you get on your face is going to look, especially if you are working with someone or you yourself have textured skin at all, like around the eyes or on the face or around the mouth, those trouble areas. It's going to make sure that the makeup gets everywhere in those instead of just sometimes, at least in my experience, I've been doing someone's makeup and it'll just kind of sit on top of any lines or anything like that, and then you go to move your face and it looks worse. That's definitely something we are not trying to do. I promise. Okay, so as you can see, I have a little bit of extra purple under here and around, and so I'm probably going to go in with this more yellow tone because what that's going to do is you're going to see is that's going to cancel it out. And I'm just going to tap, look up and tap. Granted, I've been doing this a long time, so if you're not comfortable with looking up and tapping, that's understandable. Just do what you can. A lot of people that have been requesting me to make these videos are people that would definitely be considered beginners. And it's fine wherever you're starting. And always feel free to message me or comment or whatever on any questions you might have. And as you can see, I did bring it out and bring it kind of down, and I tap definitely because this makeup is a little bit more temperamental. But it leaves a very nice finish. I tap and I blend, and that yellow might look a little bit accentuated on camera, but as you can see, it definitely highlighted my cheekbone instead of over here, and it kind of already makes me look a little snatched. So that's what we're gonna go with. I also like to put a little bit down here just because I like using concealer as somewhat of a liquid highlighter. And I do have a double chin. I am a round-faced woman, which I might do a video on that later, the different face shapes, which we're all born different, and that's fine because there is a path of makeup for you and a hairstyle. And I also put a little bit on my forehead just to kind of accentuate that. I don't know if you guys could hear that in the background. My cat is just kind of freaking out. And then I do put a little bit down my nose. And I mean, I know I'm doing a full face, but I mean, let's be honest. The nose is one of the few things that we still are having people see, unless you have a partner at home that is just kind of chilling. But you see the difference? It's a pretty big difference, especially like this side to this side. The concealer will make a massive difference. I have heard nothing but positive things about Tarte Shape Tape. That's T-A-R-T-E, Tarte Shape Tape. I have never used it before, but if you're not wanting to drop it's a little bit more of an expensive product, but I mean, you get a lot in there get a lot of bang for your buck. So if you're not wanting to pay that much and you're wanting to try out concealer, I would go with the Milani. That is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Longwear Concealer. It looks just like this. You can get it at Walmart. You might be able to find it at Target. I don't know. I don't shop at Target, so you can probably tell. But that is what I've been told is very similar to Shape Tape. So if you end up getting that and liking it, then I would definitely look into it. You can also always stop by your local Sephora or Ulta. I prefer to go to Ulta just because there's a lot of them around where I am located, where you can just go in and ask for help. I mean, honestly, as people that love beauty, no matter what gender we are or how we identify or whatnot, we are here to help. If you come across somebody who is like full cake, gorgeous, whatever, and they're not willing to help you at all, then I would stay far away from those people. So next is powder. Okay, I prefer to use a loose powder, but I mean, honestly, if you want a little bit more coverage, like especially if you're just going to be using a powder foundation, you can always go for a compact. That works too. And it's really just whatever you're comfortable using. If you do decide to use a liquid foundation, I will tell you, if you do use a compact powder foundation, or just as like a way to just kind of set everything, it is going to be a little bit thicker. If you end up using a loose powder, like I'm going to be doing, I wish I had both so I could just do like one half and one half. I might do that later. It does make a big difference. That I have found, at least for my skin, that sometimes if you use a compact, it can kind of have a tendency to settle into the pores and settle into fine lines and things like that. With these, I have found that it tends to work a little bit better and just kind of, I don't know, just effortlessly kind of flattens everything and just kind of helps smooth everything out. Granted, I do my makeup very heavy. Not everyone is like that, and that's fine. But this is just how I do my typical face pretty much every day. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes I use different products like I mentioned earlier, but it's whatever you want to do. This is a sample that I got from Ulta a few days ago. It's the Bare Minerals. This is just their loose powder. It's very tiny, very tiny. I mean, it's small. But the big one is, I think, like maybe half this size. This is Airspun. Some of you ladies and gents probably, and everyone in between who's a little bit older might recognize this. Airspun is a company that's been around for forever. They do still make products. Sadly, they're not in the pretty metal tins anymore, but they do still have that signature smell. I am going to be using the Bare Minerals, the Mineral Veil. They do make, Bare Minerals has a decent shade range, but you can also always mix things together. Like if you're going to be working with other people, or I mean, I'm not even gonna get into it, but people with different skin shades should not have to buy 2 products to get their color, but this is a sample, so don't come for me, I'm using it. Bare Minerals is known for kind of being a little bit more natural, a little bit more classy, if you want to put it that way. What I always do is, especially if it's a loose powder, I take it and I just kind of, put it in, okay? Just kind of tap it in. And as you can see, I kind of just have a little bit of powder, in here. This is very fine. The finer the powder, the better it's gonna be, okay? So you just wanna take your brush and tap in, and then I always tap some off because it can be a lot sometimes. You look up and you just tap. Oh, I should also mention what brush this is. The CAO 114. This is a very thick, fun, very soft, pretty brush that I like to use on the face. Sometimes I'll go in with my Mac Daddy that I'll show you in just a minute. But I like to use this one, especially with this powder, I've found is very nice. And as you can see, I'll do half of my face first so you can see what's going on. I also really like whatever shade they decided to give me because it does have a bit of a purple orange undertone to it. So it really kind of helps match my skin tone that I have. I am very pale, y'all. So trying to find any kind of makeup that's actually going to match is not easy for me. Which I can't even imagine how hard it is for women of color because, oh my God, I'm white and I have the most to pick from and I still can barely find anything. But I always just, you want to make sure it's everywhere. And honestly, I prefer to pat in just because I feel like it gives my skin a better look. If you're more of a swipe kind of girl and then a pat, to go for it, or boy, or anyone in between, whatever's fine. But you can kind of see, it kind of just flattens everything out, makes everything look smooth. And then this side is still just a little bit dewier. Now, if you're looking for a dewy look, go for it. But I definitely wear makeup for long periods of time. And so having powder is good for me personally. I'm gonna do the other side. I also feel like when I pat, like with a brush that has a ton of bristles, I get a little bit more control. I don't know if y'all have ever been putting on powder, especially like with those little like powder puffs they give you in a compact, and you get it on and you don't, because after it's on your face, it's kind of hard to get the excess off. With a brush, I find it's much easier to kind of just control, because you can just, I mean, honestly guys, that's the amount that I get on my brush. That's it. And as you can see, especially with Bare Minerals, considering that it's a higher brand product, I don't need that much product. We tell the same thing to people in the salon, because when you buy a professional grade shampoo or conditioner or makeup product, or not makeup product, hair product or whatever, you're going to be using way less. So that money that you're spending, you're going to be getting an amazing product that's way healthier for you, rather than getting something that's full of wax and going to, especially people that have curly hair. Y'all, do not even get me started on some of the crap you can find at the drugstore. Do not do that to your curls. What I'm going to be doing, and I mean, as you can see, that's a big difference from when we started. Feel free to go back and forth between the start of the video and the end of the video and see how big of a difference it makes. It makes a big difference. So I see a spot that I missed there. I always like to kind of go back and I just kind of move. This looks kind of weird. My face in the mirror, especially since this is a very matte product, and see if there's any like shiny spots where I might have missed, which is a little bit right here, but we're not going to worry about that because today's a lazy day kind of, but I prefer to get ready because it makes me feel good about myself. Okay, so this is a product I've had for literally since like high school, but I don't think powder expires unless it starts to work different. Then it's fine, honestly. This is the NYC, I don't know, Smooth Skin Bronzing Face Powder. If you ever see anything that's labeled bronzer, you can always use that as a contouring anything. This is my MAC Daddy brush. Not actually MAC, I should probably say that. This is an e.l.f. brush, so you can still kind of see the logo. This is the brush I prefer to use. It's very soft. And e.l.f. brushes, just, I should give a little bit more information about the brands I'm talking about. e.l.f. brushes are very affordable. They're kind of like Morphe brushes, Morphe, Morphe, okay? They're not very expensive at all, and they're synthetic, so you're not paying for animal fur in a brush, which, I mean, if you want to be bougie and do that, go ahead, but honestly, you're gonna get a lot of good stuff out of synthetic. I feel like they don't have a tendency to get wet and moldy and mildewy and gross, and nobody wants that. But as you can see, this also has a ton of bristles on it, and I always prefer to use stuff like this because, again, it just gives a better result. That's just what I prefer. Now, people, contouring can do a lot for the skin. Watch my double chin will just kind of disappear. And blending when you contour is a huge factor. And this is what I do, by the way, if you're wondering. I just do a couple swoops because this is a bit more of a compacted powder. It's pressed in kind of hard. Not every powder is going to be like that. And now you might have seen people do that when they contour. If you are a lady with, or man, or whoever with textured skin, do not do that. You are creating more lines in your skin, and it's not what we're trying to do, okay? And then I always take just a little bit on the forehead, just to kind of blend everything out. Now, this bronzer might be a little bit extra warm toned for my skin, but honestly, I don't care. If it looks good, I'm going with it, because this stuff was like maybe $3, and it looks great, it feels great. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's all I'm gonna say. But this is what I tend to do. Now, granted, I do not have to blend all that much. Some people prefer to blend a lot. I just do a little bit because that's just all I need for my skin. But as you can see, it gives the illusion that my face is snatched. My face is not snatched. I am a thick woman who has a lot of fat on her face. Okay, it's changed since I've lost 40 pounds, but there's still a lot there. I have a round, square kind of face. Okay, which depending on your face shape, your contour is going to be completely different. Back in the 50s, they did figure that out for us, thank God. But there are plenty of tutorials online about figuring out which face shape you have and contouring effectively, you know, because everyone wants to look like Kim Kardashian and J-Lo and everyone else like that, you know. You want to look pretty, or what you believe is pretty. Granted, you might think that round Renaissance faces are very pretty. I think they are, but for me, I want a cheekbone. I don't have that on this side. I have it on this side now because I contoured, but on this side, she's not there. But as you can see, it kind of just creates that illusion, especially with this down here. You can see there's a pretty big difference. It just creates the illusion of a shadow. That's why you just choose usually like a shade or two darker, or whatever you feel is going to blend well with your skin tone. Again, if you literally want to just walk into beauty brands or Ulta or any of those places, there is going to be an esthetician or someone there who wants to help. You know how you go into a store and there's people standing there and they are like, "Hi, do you need help finding anything?" They're not trying to get you out of the store. Usually they're actually wanting to help. I've worked enough retail jobs where eventually you start actually wanting to help people, unless they're going to be mean. The worst thing you can do is not respond, completely ignore them, or be like, and walk away. Don't do that, please. Respect your retail workers and your fast food employees. They work very hard. Granted, some of them are teenagers, but they deserve respect too, let's be honest. They, especially as of right now, being a teenager right now, I would lose my fucking mind. If I wouldn't have gotten a senior year, I would go crazy. I would have gone crazy. Okay, so as you can see, my face feels a little bit more sunken in, which, I mean, honestly, that's what we're going for. So I have a little bit more of a cheekbone, a little bit more, it kind of smooths everything out and brings everything forward. So if you feel like you have some features that where you do not want to bring everything forward, there again is a way to contour with the concealer and with the bronzer to kind of shape everything and make everything look even and snatched. And that's what we're going for. Okay. The nice thing about it too is that the NYC comes with a little mirror. Oh, hello. So if you ever need to touch up anything, that's always nice. We're going to be doing highlighting. And I know that scares some people, but it's not, I promise. You just have to find something that you like. Okay, so I tend to use the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder. Yep, that's both what these are. This is a 319B. It's a little bit more of a pinky pearlescent. This is the 321B, which is called Precious Petals. It's a little bit darker. This is a shade that I tend to use during the summertime. It's a little bit more gold, a little bit more fun. Okay, but we are about to hit winter and I need pink. Which is, obviously you can tell I prefer this one. It's nice and it's very shiny. So let me just show you what that does. And also with highlighters, I prefer to use brushes like this that are a little bit coarser and still kind of highly compacted, but not as much. This is another e.l.f. brush. You might be able to find this at the store. You can literally find them everywhere. They're very, very affordable. I'm talking like $1, $2, $3. Okay, you have no excuses anymore. The powder puffs are not okay. Go get brushes. Okay. The nice thing about Wet n Wild too is that they're also very affordable. I believe these are like, I don't know, $2, $3, $4 max. They're also vegan and cruelty free, so they do not test on animals, which is what we love because I do not like that idea. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna circle a couple times and I get about this much product on my brush. Okay, I'm gonna look at my cheekbone and this is just where I prefer to put it. I'm gonna smack it on there. As you can see, that kind of creates a bit of a shine and kind of also highlights everything, hence the name highlighter. And again, I'm just gonna kind of do it on half my face so y'all can see what it does. It's very good stuff. Now again, there are highlighters for everyone and some highlighters might not work for you. And as you saw earlier, e.l.f. also has liquid highlighter. I don't like to use, liquid is good if you're in the summertime and you don't wear full cake and you literally just want a bit of shine and you don't usually do much more than just your eyes, your lips and eyebrows, whatnot else. Liquid highlighter might be a good brand for you. I might do like a little tutorial or you could always look up someone else who's done that to show you guys how that works. It's pretty easy. It's not too crazy. So as you can see, it just shines. And Wet n Wild is definitely a bit more, their highlighters are very pigmented. So if you're wanting something a little bit more effortless that's not like, that's barely there, okay? So like nobody can tell you have highlighter on. I don't do that, but if you do that, that's fine. I would not recommend this brand. Like, let me swatch this for you so you can see what I'm talking about. They are very pigmented, okay? You see that? That pretty pearlescent. It's very pigmented. Now, granted, you can apply it in plenty of different ways. As you can see, it makes a pretty nice little bit of a shine. That's not what you're going for. You might want to pick a different product. Again, you can literally go anywhere and they will be happy to help you. I'm telling you. People that are passionate about makeup and beauty and whatever else are going to want to help you. If you get someone who you're trying to ask a question and they are just being rude and treating you like you're an idiot, stay away from them and tell the manager. Bring out your inner Karen and tell the manager. Especially if you walk in there, which, I mean, I don't think this is going to happen, honestly, especially Ulta. Ulta, they're very nice there. Sephora is kind of known for being a little bit more treating everyone as if they're beginners. Especially if you don't walk in there with a face full of makeup, they're going to kind of be a little bit more with you, and that's not cool. Okay, so now we're on to blush. Okay, I have a few different things that I like to use. Let me show them to you. This is the CAO Cheek color. And as you can see, there's lots of pretty shades. They're very pigmented. I like this stuff. And the purple is really pretty too. And then my favorite that I've been using as of right now is the Wet n Wild Excuse, the clearance sticker. Okay, ignore it. The Wet n Wild, I don't actually know. It's kind of shiny, so you can kind of use it as a highlighter and whatever else not. But this is the Zombie Blush. Okay, it looks green, right? It looks green, okay? I'm not lying to you when I do this. Looks green, looks kind of green on my finger. But if I go in and I pat it, it's a pretty maroon tone, okay? I just like having that in my collection because I whip it out and put it on somebody. They're thinking that it's gonna be green and it's not green. It's fun. Now, if you're just doing a little bit, like if it's summertime and you just use creams and liquids and whatever, and then you pop some powder on and go for it. Creams might definitely be for you, especially if you have textured skin. That might be good too, especially if you just use powder on top, because you can put the cream on and don't overdo it. Okay, I would use my fingers and kind of go around like that and make sure that it's in everything, and then put the powder on top, because that powder is going to help make sure everything settles nicely and doesn't crease up halfway through the day. I'm sure some of you people know what I'm talking about, where kind of you're halfway through your day and you look and you just have lines of lightness and with borders of darkness because the foundation or whatever you have on your skin has settled. And that's not fun. Today I'm going to be using the Zombie Blush because I just love this stuff. I'm just going to go in with this CAO 118. Again, it's lots of little bristles, lots of fun, okay? And then I'm just going to pat on the apples of my cheeks. You can always smile and see. I like to bring it up and blend in because I do have redness still that peeks through, and I feel that it kind of just blends with everything. It just makes everything look kind of nice. Now, you don't have to use blush. I just like to because honestly, it makes me feel a little bit more feminine, and I'm into that. I like being female, and God damn it, if I'm gonna have to deal with everything else that comes along with being female, I'm using a blush, okay? I'm gonna do whatever makes me happy and whatever makes me feel good, and y'all should be doing the same thing, okay? Or if you're male and you wanna be a little extra feminine or whatever, makeup is not gendered, people. Makeup is not gendered. Boys can wear makeup, girls can wear makeup. Anyone who identifies as nothing can wear makeup, okay? And that is not up for discussion. It's just not, okay? Thank you. Okay, so now I have, this is pretty much my entire face, okay? This is what I start with. As you can see, my skin looks pretty good. Again, the more money you put into good products, like you're gonna walk into Ulta and like a powder is gonna be like $45, okay? I'm just gonna be real with you. Get it. If it's in your budget, go for it, because it makes such a difference. It's not even funny. My makeup looks fine right now because I just applied it. Okay, everyone, I mean, if you could leave the door open when you leave and your makeup looks snatched and perfect and gorgeous, but if you're a working human being or you're going to be out for a while or it's going to get hot and you're going to get sweaty, or if you have oily skin, the oils start to peek through, your makeup will change throughout the day, y'all. And I'm sure you know this. And it's fine. It happens to everyone. My makeup tends to settle around my nose. And I mean, thankfully, masks are a thing right now, so nobody even sees that. But my makeup also has a tendency to crease right here just because I have fine lines right there. And that's fine. It's not a big deal. Everyone's skin is different because we're all different people, and that's fine. I am going to be doing my eyebrows. Now, the way that I do my eyebrows might be a little bit different than everyone else. Just because I don't have any. I shave them. I get rid of the outer half and I just allow myself to start with this because I personally prefer a higher arch than how my eyebrows will even grow. Okay, the arch that I like to have comes up here. This is where the top of my eyebrow would grow in. So, goodbye. They don't come back anymore, which is fine because it's less work that I have to do. Okay, so for my eyebrows, well, let me just give a big, okay. with eyebrows, typically for people, the product that I would recommend would be an eyebrow pencil. Okay, one of these guys. They come with a little spoolie. Some of them have caps on their spoolies. If you're not like me and you lose them after you bring them home, comes with a little spoolie because you can, you know, comb your eyebrow, make it look all nice. And it also comes with this tip that expands. Where are you? Hello? Hello? That expands. Okay. So it's nice, and it's kind of just like a little bit of a pencil. It's literally just a pencil. Okay, you might be used to, you might be used to a little bit more something like this. That's quite literally a pencil. But I would not recommend pencils for many reasons. Okay. If you can find a product that is a pencil that glides easily, like sometimes you can find these pencils that are very greasy and that will glide easily, go for it. But if you're having to take a lighter and light the product, absolutely not. It goes in the trash now. It goes in the trash now. We're not going to put our skin through that. It's not okay. If you are having to pull on your skin at all to apply anything, no. Especially if you are applying your pencil and you're pulling, you notice you're pulling on your skin. No, that's not what we're gonna do. That's absolutely not okay. And if you're like me, before I use eyeshadow on my eyebrows. Sometimes it turns out real good and blended. Let's be honest. Other times it looks like I literally am from the 60s and I just drew it on. And that's fine with me because I am in that stereotype of kind of crazy, alternative, wacky, I'm fine with having lined brows kind of gal. Okay. But if that's not for you, I mean, I also use black eyeshadow, so that's not exactly helpful for me. But if you do use eyeshadow, I would highly recommend tapping, especially during the summertime. Right now it's hot, and getting the sweat anywhere off of you. Okay, if you find yourself sweating while you're doing your makeup, which that happens to me all the time, it's a cool morning, so thankfully that's not happening. I would just dab it off. You can always use toilet paper, you can use your shirt, whatever, okay? Because if you allow that sweat to sit there, my problem areas are right here and in my eyebrows. Like, I will look in the mirror and my eyebrows will be like wet. Okay, and if I don't do that, if I don't get that before I try to put anything on, it will smear everywhere. Like, say, I just had this problem yesterday where I tried to put my eyebrows on and it quite literally smeared all of my makeup off because of my brush. And I realized it was because I was sweaty. I forgot to do that, even though that's typically what I do. So that's just a tip that I have. You might not sweat when you're putting your makeup on, but I am a thick girl and that happens to me. The palette I'm gonna be going in with is the Too Faced Beauty Daydreamer. Okay, Too Faced can be kind of controversial, okay, but don't come for me. I bought this palette for this color down here, okay, if you can see it. It's iridescent blue and it's pretty. Don't come for me. The color that I am going, and it also, these are really nice shades. Too Faced usually releases something during the Christmas time at Ulta, and their stuff is really cute. Like, I mean, look at this. Bunnies, okay? Bunnies. I like bunnies. They're cute. And this is nice too because this palette comes with, that's like a highlighter, okay? This is a good example of one that's maybe not so thick. You can kind of see it's a little bit more powdery than it would be shiny. This is a bronzer that you could use to contour. A highlighter blush, which is like a shiny blush if you don't feel like putting a highlighter over it. And then an actual blush, which is cool. Like, it's very pretty. And then it comes with plenty of shimmer tones and matte tones. I know some people out there are they do not like shimmer tones. If you're like me and you have hooded eyes, you could literally do an entire shimmer look and a lot of it's gonna have dimension. Because when people think shimmer, they think 80s glitter. And makeup is not like that anymore at all. Okay, you might be able to find a few brands where it's a little crazy, but makeup has gone so far that it's not like that anymore. Do not be afraid to try things because of one experience you had with it back in whatever time frame. Okay, makeup is very different. But I'm going to be going in with this shade right here, this kind of purpley blue black. And I'm going to draw on my eyebrows with this pretty little brush here. It's a CAO 102, okay? It's very angular, it's very sharp, okay? Because I need precision. Me, I'm a precision kind of gal. If you have eyebrows, you can get away with just filling them in, honestly. You don't need to shape and do everything like that. Some people like to use almost like a pomade kind of, but I do not. I have yet to try that, so I couldn't tell you. But people seem to like that too. It's really just personal preference on everything. That's why I'm just letting you know what I like, because that could be completely different from anyone else. Okay, so I'm gonna go in, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shape. Okay, just a simple little shape. Okay, and y'all, I might make this seem easy, but I have been doing this like every day for years. Okay, it takes a lot of practice. If it takes you 3, 4, 5 times to get your eyebrows on, don't be afraid to not start with your face. I start with my face because I am fine with stuff getting a little crazy, but if you are going for a very natural look and you have to put on your eyebrows like I do, go ahead and do those first. You don't have to do this all in the same order. Now, on your face, like the steps that I did with the concealer and everything, you might want to do it in that order. But if you don't want your concealer to pop, you can always put it underneath your foundation, you know? Everyone's different. So what I did was I took kind of a darker line underneath, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of bring it up through here and just connect. Okay, I'm going to tap back into my palette, and I'm going to kind of bring that line forward, okay? And we're going to kind of just connect, but not actually connecting. So you see that, how it's kind of open in between? Okay, and I'm going to go still back in with that color, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the outer corner of it and kind of make that a little bit darker. And then I'm going to tap my brush one more time, and then I'm going to bring it all to the front. Okay, so when you tap that one last time, you have a little bit more control over it having a bit of a gradient. Sometimes I don't do that, and as you can see, my eyebrow does look completely drawn on. But for me, as you're gonna see, I do very heavy eyeshadow, so it balances itself out. Now this is the eyebrow that I was able to achieve today. They're not always perfect, and remember, eyebrows are sisters, not twins, so if they're not perfect, it's not a big deal. I always like to go in too and kind of just fill in a little bit more, because I get in my car and I look at my eyebrow and sometimes the light shines through and I'm like, oh God, I have a whole area where there's no powder. But we're gonna try to not do that. And if you're like me, you're sweating already again, so you tap, okay? It's a struggle, but we'll get through it. Go back in, and we're gonna attempt to make these look the same. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And again, it's fine if they're not the same, because most people's eyes are not the same. So if your eyebrows come out a little bit different, that could just be your brain's way of making your eyes look more similar, because the eyebrow has to be a little bit different to make them look the same size or whatever. Just go for it. People, I don't know, the world has changed a lot, and people, I feel like, are not so judgmental about everything nowadays, and that's so nice, because oh my God, y'all, I got so tired of people just being rude and non-inclusive and just annoying, honestly. People are not like that anymore. If you are walking around and your eyebrows are a little bit off, nobody is going to care. No one is going to come up to you and be like, oh my God, your makeup looks terrible. No one's gonna do that. Nobody. And if they do, let me know, because I will slap them across the face, because those people are the people who should not be allowed to do anything. Okay, sorry, went over. And right now I'm just like doing the same process I did over there, is kind of filling in and buffing to the front. Now for me, my eyebrows never look the same. Look at them. They look different, okay? And that's fine, because if you're like me, you can just kind of go in and swipe it off a little bit. Okay. Eyebrows are not made to be perfect. Okay. My eyes are just slightly different. Okay. And it's fine. It looks fine. Okay. I am not perfect. From what I can tell, the amount of people that have come up to me or commented on my TikToks or anything like that, who ask me to show them how to do makeup, I get flabbergasted because I don't think I'm really that good, to be honest with you. Nothing ever matches up. Sometimes it looks a little crazy. I walk around thinking I look terrible half the time. And a good example, like yesterday, I went to the dentist with my boyfriend because he needed a root canal. And I had people, and 2 nurses who are amazing, come up to me and tell me that my makeup was gorgeous. And I was like, oh, thank you. It's insane. I never thought that would happen. But the way that women are to each other now is so nice. It's so nice. Oh my God. I remember horror stories from girls that were a little bit older than me of other women being terrible. And honestly, women that are terrible to each other are just either insecure or they have their own personal issues. And you know what? If you're one of those girls, we are here for you. We love you. Think Midsummer, that movie. We got you. Okay? Don't ever exclude yourself from anything because either A, you think you're too good, B, you think you're not good enough, or whatever else. Love yourself. Please. Everyone is perfect. Doesn't even matter if you look if you think you look terrible or you think you're ugly. No one is ugly because we're all created differently and there is no actual standard. That's just a created thing. You know, that doesn't actually exist. Okay, so here comes the fun part. I finally got the James Charles palette. Okay, so this, you're gonna see if you know me at all in real life, you're gonna know why I'm excited about this the moment I open it. Packaging is gorgeous. You can't even really, oh, that looks kind of cool. Thumbnail. Morphe, which is the brand I was talking about earlier. That's how you spell it. Okay, James Charles, there he is. And I don't know how this already happened. I think it might be primer, but you know, these, I will tell you, these are pressed pigments, okay, which really only professionals should be using. But you know, who cares? If you're ready for it, go for it. The difference between pressed pigments and powders or like things you can get at the drugstore. Okay, this is something you can only find at Ulta. Thank God, because I have Ultas everywhere. This is different than, say, well, no, I don't really have anything. Like this. Okay, this is a palette I was gifted. This, or like an e.l.f. palette. Okay, you have these gorgeous colors, right? Gorgeous colors in the pan. Okay. And I'm sure if you've ever done makeup before, you know, you are ready to put on something, you swatch it, and, oh, what happened? You might put it on your hand, and you're like, oh, this is pretty and blendable, and I'm not knocking that palette. It's gorgeous for if you're not doing much, but I'm just trying to show you the difference, okay? And I'll show you these colors in a second. Okay, I still have the sheet over it if that tells you anything. It's very pretty. And say I take a pink, okay? So first of all, that's my finger. All right, see that's the color there? That's the difference, okay? That's just, I did the same thing for both of those. That is a pressed pigment, that is a powder. And let me go in with I'm pretty sure a fake. Anything you can get from Kohl's, I don't think that stuff's actually real. Another palette that's been a favorite of mine for years, but now that I have the James Charles, I will no longer really be reaching for it. This is the CAO Cosmetics. I've had this for years. I think it said it has like 130 some colors. It's fun and it works real good, but let me show you the difference, okay? I got a similar color, okay? One swipe, okay? It's a big difference. We've got the Jolie on here, the fake, I'm pretty sure it's fake, CAO Cosmetics color over here, and then the James Charles. And see, this is the problem, okay, is that this color right here, it looks very vibrant and colorful and fun. That's the color I just swatched on my hand. That's this one. Okay, now let me show you real quick. Or keep that color in your brain, or go back and forth in the video and look. But, ta-da! This is the color that I swatched in the middle. Now, those colors to the person's eye look the same in the pan. But as you can see, that's way more pigmented. You can touch it, it doesn't instantly go away. I touch that, and it's like gone, okay? If you are willing, invest in your makeup. Invest in your makeup. The more money you're spending, the better the product's gonna be. And that's just real. If you are not all about eyeballs like I am, just invest in foundation. Invest in a really good moisturizer. Get a really good foundation, whether it's powder or liquid, and just go about your day. Okay, concealer is another good one. But if you're not worried about eyes or eyebrows or any of this other stuff that I personally do, don't worry about it. You don't need to go buy expensive everything. Just know that it does make a difference. And if a place is willing to give you a sample, do that. Get as many samples as you want before you go in and pay the full $45 or whatever price they decide to use for their foundation or whatever, because that's expensive. You can tell why I'm excited about this. Okay. We're gonna do blue. We're gonna do blues, just all blues, okay? Which are these guys down here, okay? All these pretty blues, very pretty. James, you did a great job on this palette. Okay, thank you. I've been wanting this for forever, and I finally got it because school, and I'm gonna be doing makeup when I get out of school, so I was like, I need to get something a little easier to work with. That is something I will tell you. If you have been doing makeup for a while with drugstore stuff, please invest and get a nice, fun palette, please. Because this stuff is so easy to work with. It's easier to work with more expensive things. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I have so many people come up to me and tell me, oh my gosh, your makeup looks amazing. That must, like, oh my gosh, ah. And I love that. Thank you. That makes me like feel happy. And I'm like, wow, women supporting women or whatever, we're just supporting each other, and I live for that. But the more expensive the makeup, the easier it is to work with and the better it's gonna look. That's just my experience and what I have found. You can always find dupes. Like Wet n Wild is a great dupe for a lot of different products that are expensive but give off great results. Wet n Wild is great for that. But, sorry, I'm thinking. Not everybody wants to do that, you know? Okay, so I'm going to go in with, this shade here. And again, it's a pressed pigment, so tap, tap. And then look at all that's on my brush. Look at that. It's a lot. Okay? And what I like to do with powders, oh God, I don't know where I'm going to do this, but I tap it off. You don't see what you're on because the setup I have for my phone is crazy right now. Okay, I tap, and then I prefer to go in on my outer corner because I have hooded eyes and kind of just blend, okay, and bring it in. And then just kind of, I prefer to fade up, and then I kind of look and I see how much I can see, and then I fade up just a little bit more. Okay, and literally that was one press into that palette and it got me all of this. Exactly, it's good stuff. I'm gonna just tap again, tap, tap to get that extra off of there. I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna kind of just fluff it up a little bit more, okay? See how it creates that darker? This stuff is very easy to work with because it gives the perfect amount that you're looking for on the first or second swipe, okay? And then it's buildable, okay? Buildable makeup is the best makeup. Now since I kind of have hooded around eyeballs, I'm just gonna kind of bring it down here and kind of out to kind of just bring a little bit more dimension to my eyeball. And that might be a whole other video I make, is how to accentuate your eyeball, because everyone's eyeballs are completely different, and that's not what I do and the shape that I use with my eyeshadow on my eyeball is not going to work for everyone because everyone's eyes are different, you know? So it's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. Okay, so I'm going to take this color. I'm still working with the same color, okay? And I'm going to want lightness in the center of my eye because I'm going for a halo eye, I think is what it's called. So I'm going to pat and swipe towards the middle, okay? Pat and swipe, so it kind of just gives that little cloudy look on my eyeball. Gonna go back in with that color again. We're gonna start at the inner corner. Okay, we're gonna tap and swipe. So it kind of creates that shadowy effect. Okay, you see how that's all light in the center and it already looks like I put something shiny there? I haven't yet. This palette's just real good. Okay, I'm gonna go back in and continue to blend. If you're using a pressed pigment, blending is the best thing you can do because, I mean, the more that you blend, the more time you spend on your look, the better it's gonna turn out, I'm telling you. And now, eventually, you will have to let go, okay? I am that kind of person that will sit and fidget with something for 40 hours and then it's too much, okay? But if you're just like at home and you're bored, do whatever you want. Just do whatever. Okay, honestly. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this eyeball. Now, if you noticed, I don't even know if you can see, that part of my eye on this side tends to grab more. Okay, that's just how my eyes work. So if I'm not careful, it can end up looking a little bit crazy. But if you are like me and you have hooded eyes, you probably already know that. You see how this looks great? And then I close my eyes and you can barely see anything. That's why I blend up so far, and that's why I always check to look. You can always just do that and just relax your face. Don't like open your eyes, don't whatever. Just relax your face so you can see how other people are gonna see you with the makeup look that you're doing. And then so you can tweak it however you need to. That's what I do. And it tends to work pretty well. But all eyes are a little bit different. So if you find yourself being better with one eye than the other, girl, me too. It's just easier sometimes. And if you are wanting me to do your makeup, let me know. We do makeup applications at my school, and literally whatever you want to do, I'm down. I can do natural, I can do crazy, I can like let you know what you'd look like if you wanted to do makeup like mine, which, I mean, I have plenty of social media friends who do stuff like this, but not a lot of people in real life. So, I mean, if you want to have if you're having like an 80s night or whatever, let me know, hit me up. Okay, hit me up because I love to do stuff like that. Okay, and just like I was doing earlier, just kind of bring it all into the center there. Okay, just kind of swipe until you get that kind of halo-y, shimmery effect. And it's okay if it's not perfect, because if you're like me, you're gonna put something on top of here, so it's fine if it doesn't look the same, you know? We're not worried about it. Put just a little bit more and blend up some more, okay? And see, they're not perfect. They're gorgeous because James Charles did an amazing job on this palette. But we've got, this is all one color, by the way. This is all just this one shade, which actually I should probably tell you the name of because that's why I kept this cute little, it comes with a cute little overlay so your powders don't get all messy. It's called Playground. The color I put on my eyeballs, which is this pretty blue, is called Playground, which is a fun little name. I love when people like the names of everything. I just live for that. Okay, so we've got the base color, all right. What I sometimes like to do is go in with a darker shade and like more define my crease, which actually I might go in with a purple. I'm gonna do the purple last. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this shade here, which I'll be able to tell you the name of in a minute. I'm just gonna tap a couple times, tap off, and then I'm gonna just kind of tap on and go back over my crease and just kind of accentuate that just a little bit more. just because I like to have a ton of stuff on my eyeballs, and it just makes it look a little bit more blended. I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but it kind of helps vibrant up all those tones and adds just a little bit more dimension to my eyeball. Sorry, I'm sure I'm making the most gorgeous faces right now. But pro tip, which I'm sure probably most of you already know this, but if you hold your mouth open while you're doing anything on your eyes, it makes it so you have to think before you blink. And it just makes it easier. So if you look a little crazy while you're doing your makeup, go for it. Okay, so, and also this is, I probably should have said this earlier, I'm so sorry. This is the brush that I'm using. It's also very compact and has a ton of bristles. This is the CAO 109 brush. Okay, it's kind of shaped like this. It's a fun little brush. As you can see, it's very bristly. Now I'm gonna go in with the purple. Okay, we're gonna go in with the purple. And what I'm gonna do for that is I'm gonna use this shade right here, this dark purpley shade, which is called Escape. The other one I was using was called Brother. That's fun. It's a really pretty like denim blue color, but this purple is gorgeous. So I'm just barely tapping twice, a little bit of knock off, and then I'm just gonna kind of go over my crease again with this purple. Whoops, actually show up on the eyelid. It's nice. So it doesn't, because there are some brands where you go to put it on your eyelid and it all just phases together, and that's not fun. That's not what we're looking for. These colors you really can actually blend together, and it makes life a lot easier. And as you can see, especially on the camera, wow, that really just darkened up, because I do a lot of smoky eyes, y'all. That's just what I do. It darkened up my whole area, so it kind of makes my eyes pop a little bit more. As compared to this one, it's still pretty, still good, but that purple just adds that little extra dimension. Okay, so that's just all you're gonna do, is just go along your crease and blend. And if you don't have a crease, just go along where you would want that shape to be, wherever that shape you'd want it to be at, is because not everyone has a crease. Some people have eyelids that don't have creases, and that's fine. It's not a big deal. We can work around that. This is very much so like, I don't know, kind of an Elsa look, I guess is what I would call it. Very like, I'm ready for winter kind of look. Can you tell I'm ready for winter? Gosh, this camera makes me look so washed out. I'm gonna put I always like to make them match, just because, again, I use a lot of makeup, so it can get kind of testy. It also doesn't help that I use the same similar kinds of brushes the whole time. So sometimes stuff isn't so accurate, but that's fine. I'm clumsy. You're gonna figure that out here soon. Okay. So now, and this was just an e.l.f. brush. Honestly, I'm not sure which one it is, but it's kind of the same shape. I mean, honestly, my eyeballs are very puffy and very big. So the bigger your brush, the more payout you're gonna have, and the rounder stuff's gonna look, which is what I prefer because my face is round. So my eye shape is round and it looks good. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in with this other e.l.f. brush that I've had for so long. The numbers are gone. It's kind of a little bit more of a flat, kind of roundish brush, which, I mean, as long as the brush is flat, you're gonna be able to do this a similar kind of thing. Or if you're brave, use your fingers. Okay, I might show you how I use my fingers all the time, just because brushes are slightly more sanitary than your fingers, but if it's just your makeup, go in with it. Honestly, I used just my fingers for years. Brushes make it a little bit easier, but fingers, you can get the same thing. You don't have to have a bunch of brushes to get this. Actually, before I do that, backtrack, I'm gonna take this shimmery blue, pretty shade, and I'm gonna put that on the middle of my eyeball. Okay, and what I do use my fingers for this. You're gonna take it and you're gonna rub a couple times, get enough product on your finger that you're comfortable, and then you're gonna just tap, okay? Just tap right in the middle there. See? Easy. Easy as pie. Okay, and just kind of blend it out a little bit. It looks cute. Do the same thing with the other eye. Okay, kind of just tap. And with shimmers, I always prefer to use my finger just because it just works a little bit better. You can always use a brush and kind of wet it down beforehand, and that would work too. But I mean, to each their own. Okay, but you can see it showed up just fine. I love this palette. Oh my God, have I said that enough? And then I'm gonna go in with this darker shade here, a little bit more of a denim dark. And I'm just tapping, just barely tapping. And I'm gonna just put this on my lower line. Now I do big dramatic smoky eye looks, so sometimes I like to connect a little bit in the middle, or actually in the inner corner. If you're not into that, that's fine. Okay, there we go, easy enough. You're just gonna blend as much as you need to. I feel very lucky because my skin likes to cooperate with me most of the time. Not everyone has that, and that's okay. There are plenty of places where you can figure that out for yourself. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I am going to go back in with, and also if you're using highly pigmented stuff, I like to have like this brush I've been using for all my purples, this brush I've been using for all my blues. So then you're not contaminating the colors, and you're also not gonna have like you dip into the blue and you've had purple or black on this brush before you go to do this, and then it's just crazy, okay? It can be helpful. I am going to take this pastel kind of blue color here that I used earlier, that brother shade, and I'm going to go back in and buff out these edges, okay? And you are gonna see what that does. It kind of allows me to define the shape just a little bit more, okay? It kind of adds a little bit more coolness to everything, and it kind of just blends everything out, okay? It's how this side you can still kind of see all of that. Adding that last little bit of color just kind of helps. At least for me, it does. Not everybody is going to want to do this because I understand that it's a lot of color and a lot of, oh my God, but this is what I do. I am a very alternative person, and I like to have crazy makeup. Now, the way that my eyes are, they're very round. Okay, so what I like to do, and I'm going into this like lighter blue again, is I like to pull my bottom out a little bit more, kind of like that shape, and then have it kind of just swoop and blend back in, okay? Because when I do that, it adds just a little bit more definition to my eyeballs, okay? It might kind of make me look like a clown, but honestly, that's kind of the look we're going for right now. I'm gonna go in with this brush, which honestly I've had since I was like 6 years old from a little Bratz makeup thing, so I don't remember what it's called or what brand it is. Just like kind of an angled, flat, very fluffy, very soft brush. And I'm going to highlight the brow bone with that. I'm gonna go in with this cooler toned, kind of whitish, pretty color, okay? Just get a little bit on your brush, okay? And then I just swipe it right underneath my brow bone. So it adds that bit of sparkle. And then I like to tap it and tap all the way towards the inner part, because then it kind of creates that extra bit of dimension. Now, and you can do this even if you don't do as crazy of looks as I do, just because it accentuates everything. The eyeliner that I prefer to use, the NYX Epic Wear liner. It is felt tip, okay? So you can see it's pretty easy to work with. It's also waterproof. So if your eyes water, you're not gonna have to constantly be worrying about it smearing all over your face. If you do dab it enough, then it might come up just a little bit, but it's not going to smear everywhere. Now, I will tell you, my liner is a little bit leaky. Okay, so like if I hold it like this, which is not what you're supposed to do, if you ever get one, you shake it, it is quite literally a marker. You might be able to see here how it's very wet at the top. Let me see. You can't really see it very well, but it leaks a little bit. That is on me because I dropped it about 1,000 times. And so what I like to do is have a towel handy, and I will just kind of do this in between every stroke that I do, and that just kind of keeps stuff from getting crazy. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit here. Okay, so that's my eyeball. Welcome. She's quite blended. I might go back and touch up a few things, but it looks good for now. Okay, so I like to do heavy winged liner. Okay, and it's gonna look like a lot, but at the end, you'll see it's cute. Okay, so I get my little mirror here and I get my liner, and what I like to do is bring it up to about where my eyebrow is and bring it straight down. Kind of just like that. Sometimes it works. Let's be honest. Eyeliner can be tricky. Okay. I'm going to, hopefully you guys can see this, but just like that. Just like that. That's all you need. The tricky part is getting it to match on both sides. Okay, because I do very dramatic makeup, that sometimes it's not so easy. But my art degree helps. Okay, they're not perfect, and that's fine. That just gives us a good angle to start with, definitely. And this liner is great for anything dramatic or crazy or fun because it is very workable. It's very workable. It is literally just a marker. And it's nice, and it dries really well, and it's not patchy, it's not crazy, it's not like with the marker, with the felt tip, it's just a little bit easier to work with, I've found, especially if you're just kind of starting in with everything. So I'm just gonna kind of bring it in with the general shape that I want. Pro tip, if you're letting your liner dry, let it dry a little bit before you try to close your eyeball if you have, or open your eyeball, I guess, if you have hooded eyes like I do. Because if you try to do that, it's gonna get a little crazy. Okay, so that's the general shape that I'm going for. And as you'll see, I have hooded eyes. So you can kind of see it has that bit of a disconnect. Some people like that, I do not. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and finish out everything, and then I'm gonna show you what I do for hooded eyes. Okay. I'm just, with this stuff, you just very light touches. It's not gonna get too crazy on you. Okay, so that's about the general shape I'm looking for. And I'm just filling in here. And like, look at that. The liner is nice, okay? The products you use make a big difference on how easy it is. People, trust me, it changes a lot. Okay, so that shape looks great, but I don't have model face and it goes back to kind of flat. So this is what I like to do. If I rest my eye, you can see that disconnect. So I like to just look straight on, okay, at the mirror, and then I will just put a dot, okay? That is where that wing will connect to this part here, okay? So I just kind of bring it out and down, and then what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna pull it up and pull it down, pull it up and pull it down. So I kind of have that shape. Looks a little crazy, but I'm definitely one of those people that it don't bother me. Now, if you're doing smaller liner, like not so dramatic like I'm doing now, that will not be nearly as noticeable if you close your eyes or whatever. And honestly, people aren't gonna care. Because watch what happens. Now, when I close my eyes, it looks like smooth and it all connects. You see how that works? Yeah, it's nice. I learned that from TikTok. Thank you, TikTok teenagers who are teaching me every day how to do my makeup a little bit differently. So I want it to be a little bit more pointy. So I just kind of took it out and pointed it out just a little bit more. That's it. It's easy. Now, other eyeball. This is when it gets kind of tricky, so excuse me if I don't narrate constantly while I'm doing this. I'm going to try to make sure you guys can see. But what I do is I constantly look back and forth, just like if you're drawing a picture. You look constantly back and forth to see if it's matching up. That's what I do. If that doesn't work, it's fine. Again, two eyes, they're two different organs. Technically, they are created differently. It's fine if it's not perfect, especially if you're just getting into liquid eyeliner. It's fine if it looks a little crazy the first few, even 100 times, because Lord knows my makeup has gone through phases and it has taken a long time for me to get to this point. Honestly, it's not easy as everyone tries to make it out to be. Just gonna bring that in, just like that. We're gonna fill in real quick. Okay, I'm just gonna, you guys see that? Yeah, kind of. Okay, again, they're not perfect, but I put on big, fun, borderline drag lashes, so my eyeliner does not have to be perfect. And it's okay if there's a few lumps and bumps. Remember, you are holding your mirror this close to your face, okay? Not everyone is gonna hopefully be that close all the time. So not everyone's gonna see everything. So it's okay if it's a little crazy. You see that? I should probably be checking. If you can hear that, that is my cat in the background getting crazy. Okay, and another thing too, if you do this method, like how I'm doing, and you have your eyes like this and they don't look the same, don't worry about it, okay? We're focusing on when your eyes are straight ahead at the person, and it's gonna be fine. That second when you blink your eyes, you're gonna have a bit of a like cute little geometric moment, but it's fine if it doesn't look even when your eyes are like this, because this is not how my eyes look most of the time. Okay, you see? Because now it just looks like a whole complete wing, and sometimes it's a little bit easier said than done. Okay, so I just went back in and kind of just made them look a little more similar. Again, my makeup is very dramatic. So, I mean, if that's not your cup of tea, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But like, as you can see, this one kind of looks a little bit more raised than this one. Maybe it's just me, but leave it alone. If you find yourself sitting with your eyeliner for over 15 minutes, girl, ain't nobody gonna notice that. Ain't nobody gonna care, okay? Especially if you're doing dark, like a smoky eye. Girl, no. Or boy, no. Anyone, no. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so now that I have this done, what I'm gonna do is go back in with this CAO pencil, that is very nice. CAO, if you're able to purchase it, go for it. Their pencils are very greasy, very easy to apply. It's nice. This is the Onyx eyeliner, and I'm going to go in on my waterline, which is that little pink right there. And I'm going to just kind of, which I mean, I know I said never to pull your eyeball, but my eyes are very small and not the easiest to work with. Okay, see how that just kind of darkened up a little bit? Okay, see, we just added just that little extra touch. Now too, if you're doing a wing, you can always go in and keep tapping and kind of just have it all sort of match up. Now, for the people out there that use crayons, pretty much they're crayons, let's be honest. You do not want to stop there, okay? Let me grab my palette. Oh, again, James. Hello, James. I learned this from my stepsister a long time ago. Is that I'm sure if you ever wear like any kind of black eyeliner that's not liquid, that it smudges and gets crazy and gets all over your face like 2 hours after you've put it on. Nobody wants that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the same brush I used for my eyebrows, and I'm gonna go in with this, quite literally the prettiest black I've ever seen. And I'm just gonna tap a little bit, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm going to tap that on, okay? And if you're brave, put it on your waterline. If you feel like that's gonna irritate your eyes, you don't have to do that. Okay, you see how it kind of smokes it out a little bit and blends it almost. You can always bring it up a little bit. But see, it kind of darkens it, makes it a little bit more prominent. And that powder is the same reason we put powder on our faces after any kind of foundation is put on, because it sets it. It keeps it from moving, keeps it dry enough that it's not going to attach to the humidity in the air and make it move. See, just makes it nice. There we go. See, easy enough. The next step is usually eyelashes for me, but I have to go get them. So excuse me for just a second. Okay, so I have returned with my lashes. I couldn't tell you what brand they are. I have no idea. All I know is that they are big and pretty. The lash glue that I prefer to use, and if you have never used lashes before, give it a try. It's not going to rip out your eyelashes. It's not going to be insane to remove. It's not going to be a terrible experience, okay? Some people like the look of them, some people don't. But do not let it scare you, okay? It's nothing to be scared of. This is the glue I prefer to use. It's the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with aloe. I don't know what that does, but it's in there. And what you're going to want to do is you take your eyelash, okay, unscrew the cap, okay, and you don't need much, okay? So you're just going to kind of go through and tap the glue on. So you just have a nice little layer of glue. Okay, and usually at this point in my life, I set them down. See, that's about all the glue you need. Okay, I set them down and I go get dressed, because I don't like to do my makeup with my clothes on, because as you can imagine, it kind of gets everywhere, for me at least, because I do pretty heavy stuff. And if I'm wearing anything black or dark colored, it will get crazy. We're just going to do the same with this one. Get some of that glue on there. And if you find that your lash is falling off throughout the day, or you have issues with it sticking to the corners, You can always just put a little extra there. Just let it relax and chill. Or if you're feeling brave, you can just take this and put it on your eyelids. Especially, I would only recommend that if you're going to like a dance competition or if you really need those lashes to not move no matter what you're gonna do. Because I will tell you, getting that glue off of your eyelid directly is difficult even for me with makeup wipes. So if you feel like you're going to panic, if you can't get them off, I would not recommend that for you. Okay, so we're gonna let these dry. And as they're drying, I'm gonna go put my outfit on to go to the dentist because I got my wisdom teeth yoinked and, you know, been healing. I have returned. I've got my cute little outfit on for today. I kind of have just swung my hair back because, you know, can't be bothered. I'm literally just going to the dentist. Now, as you can see, the glue has completely dried. So you can't really see that like layer of stuff anymore. Let me scoot just a little bit closer here. Okay, so what I like to do is use some tweezers. These are e.l.f. tweezers. Again, cheap. They're very affordable. And they're really the only tweezers I've found where they consistently will pull the hair out of your skin without being annoying. So I just kind of put them on my tweezers like this. I should probably get my mirror out. I look to see, oh my gosh, difficult to open. I look to see where they're gonna sit, okay? And I just plop them on. So as you can see, I'm using my mirror. I look, and then just put them on like that. It's pretty easy. And then I always like to take my fingers and push them in so then they stick a little bit better. You can always push them up. You can kind of deal with them however you please. Now these tweezers come in handy with the inner corners because you can kind of just take it and push it in, okay, like this. Because y'all probably can't see, but see now it almost looks like my natural lashes. And see the difference? Big difference. Big difference. Lashes are a person's best friend. Lashes can make anything look good. Even if you've completely messed up your eye look, if you put on lashes, it just makes everything kind of come together. Okay. Sorry about that, my alarm went off. So with the other eyeball, I'm just gonna use my fingers because it's just a little bit easier for me. And you always wanna look to see, I always look at this point that's gonna be on the inside to see where it's gonna line up and where it's gonna sit, okay? You always want them to sit kind of in the same place. So I just barely put it on and I take some time and I press it in, okay? I take my handy dandy tweezers and I'll kind of grab and push that inner corner part onto the inside of my eyeball so it just sits real nice. And then you just push, like you grab and you push into your eyeball to make sure it's all on there. That is what helps me at least keep them stuck to my eye. Next, we're gonna do mascara, okay? The mascara that I tend to use, I really just use for my bottom lashes and to blend with my top, which I'll show you how to do that in a second. This is the Smashbox Super Fan mascara. I got this as a tester not too long ago, but it's very small. It's cute. It's good to fit in a purse. But I really like this brush applicator. It's very movable and it's got a lot of fine teeth on it, so it will help a lot. So what I like to do is I go in, let me see if I can zoom you in just a little bit more. Let's fix this here. There we go, okay. So what I like to do is I go in, you always wanna have a mirror handy if you're filming like I am. If not, you can just look at what's going on. And you can kind of see how it doesn't blend too good, how there's still just those lashes underneath. And they're kind of a lighter color. I know it's kind of hard to see all with this lighting, but you're gonna just do a quick little coat on those lashes underneath so it just blends just a little bit better, okay? I know you can't, that didn't really make much of a difference for you guys, but trust me. when it's in real life, it makes a big difference. And then for the bottom lashes, I don't really have lashes, but I try to make sure that they appear. And then with the bottom lashes, what I do is, you just saw, is I tap and I squiggle. Tap, squiggle, and pull down a little bit. That's what will get them to appear and make them look nice. If you try to just stroke them or do that, it looks crazy. And as you can see, I kind of already have some settling, okay? That happens to the best of us, okay? Again, everyone's skin is different. And we're just gonna do the same with this side. Okay, tap and squiggle, okay? Tap and squiggle. Okay, and then you're done. You're all done. Now, sometimes I like to do a bit of a lip, but since we're wearing masks, there's no need. So yeah, this is the, let me zoom you out here. Can I get a better look? This is the full look, okay? Before and after. Okay, looks pretty good, I'd say. It matches my personality, personally. Thank you for watching my little tutorial. If you have any questions or any comments, any like constructive criticism, let me know. This is like the first video I'm gonna be trying to edit on my phone and uploading, so if it's a little crazy, cut me some slack, please. Okay, well, it was fun doing this, so I'll probably be doing it again sometime. It's kind of therapeutic, to be honest with you. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye.